Hello again. Okay. Now, this video might be a little lengthy, and I hope I don't leave anything out. I didn't write down any notes, um, but hopefully I get it all down and remember it all step by step. Now, um, casting a circle isn't always used. Um, some witches never do. Um, some it depends on what kind of work they're going to do. Um, Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Um, the purpose of the circle is to create your working space. You're encased. You're protected. Um, so because when you're doing these magics, you can quite possibly. Oh, I look like crap. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired tonight, but you could possibly, um, because you're opening another realm. You are creating something unseen. Um, you could possibly open up a portal and allow something you don't want in. And of course, if you don't know it's there, and another reason that you need to know a banishing ritual or a banishing spell, which I'll get to probably after this one, um, then that, negative energy, or, it doesn't have to necessarily be a negative energy. It could be just a little imp. You know, the whole goal and reason for their being is to mess with humans. They have nothing better to do with their time, or it could be a restless spirit that's come through that is hateful. It just don't know what to do with itself. So, and it's confused. Anyway, you don't want this stuff coming through. Okay. You want to ask for the guidance of your spirit. Um, the ones of us that have a specific deity, we usually just call on them. If you do not have a deity yet, then I would maybe just say, I call on the Great Spirit. You know, you can't go wrong with that one. Um, Spirit needs to be involved when you're casting. Um, it just does. Um, you can research that and do whatever, but I could make a whole nother video on spirit. So anyway, yes, I'm lighting a cigarette. Blech. Anyway, so now the prepper, and this can be time consuming. Once you get it down to where you know what to do, and you have a set way of doing it, then it won't take you as long. But that's what you're going to have to figure out. Everybody will do that different too. This is just the way I do mine, and it works. So I guess it's okay. But just because it works for me doesn't mean it will work for you. So you can try it this way or say different words. Um, However you want to do it, make it your own. Take this as a basis, but then turn it into something that you've created. Okay, be creative. Um, First of all, you need to cleanse your space. Now, you'll have some that will sit in a circle. I mean, actually, that have drawn a circle around them, either with chalk, magic chalk, and there's the Lady Grave Dancer has an awesome recipe for magic chalk. You can watch her and learn how to make it. Or you can just go to the store, hobby store, and buy you some chalk and enchant it. Um, but they will make their circle around them and have all their stuff in the middle. Now, when you do this, and anytime you're casting a circle, this is why you'll see why I do things the way I do them here in a minute. Once you cast that circle, you don't want nothing coming in it. That's your protective. It's like a privacy fence. Nothing can get in that circle and nothing should come out except what you're sending spiritually, the energies you're manipulating and moving around. You don't want to be stepping out of that circle, out of your protection zone, grabbing things. Oh, I forgot to get this, and step out of that circle and get something that was not encased in that circle to begin with and was not protected. You pretty much ruined your circle at that moment. So you need to make sure, if you do that, and anytime you cast a circle, you need to make sure that all your tools, yourself, everything in there, everything you need is in that circle, that specific circle. Now, there's a loophole to this, and leave it to me to find the loopholes. And it's really about doing anything that you want. Your mind is an amazing, amazing piece of work, a wonderful computer. You can generate anything you want to with it if you learn how to do it. Me personally, okay, let me back up. We'll start by cleansing the area with your sage. I like to turn on some music. Once again, you're creating an atmosphere. You're cleansing, you're calming yourself. In a way, I guess you would be kind of meditating. You're thinking about what you're going to do. You are putting your intent into this sacred space. So while you're doing this, you're getting yourself in the mood. So you're setting the mood. You're setting your space. Okay, so then after you've done all that, some even go as far as to use the broom. That's what it's for, is sweep negative energy. They'll sweep, like in my kitchen. If I haven't cleansed, in here to where I felt it was pure enough or cleansed enough, and you'll know, somehow you'll just feel it, then I'll sweep, you know. You don't want any negative energy around you, if at all possible, messing with your magic. So and symbolically, you can just, like, I have all these brooms hanging on the walls. I'll take one down and sweep. Or you can use your regular broom, your regular kitchen broom that you use every day, and sweep. You don't even have to touch the floor if you don't want to. It's symbolic. This is what you're doing. And while you're sweeping, you're thinking, and always go towards the door. I have two doors in my kitchen, one coming from my living room and one going into my utility room and out my back door. So, you sweep towards the door. You're getting rid of negative energy. Some witches do that. I don't do that. Very, very rarely do I do that. It all depends on how much time and effort you want to put in it and how much it takes to get you in the mood, or to get you thinking witchy, or start putting your intent. And every time that you do anything, you're actually putting in intent. So now, once you've cleansed your area, now, as I said, there's a loophole to the circle thing. Now, what I do, I might as well just to go ahead and show you. Now, here's where the athame, or your wand, or just your finger, or what I do is hold up whatever element I'm working with. I always start to the east. And I will show you on a video as soon as I can find somebody to record it, hold it for me, because I can't stand up and show you at the same time and hold a phone. So what I will do is stand there to the east. That's where I start. I will hold up my representation of east, my incense, that I'm using. And now some people will call to the watchtowers. Some witches say, I call to the Lord and Lady of the watchtower to the east. And then say, whatever. I usually just say, and sometimes I do, depending on how formal I want to be. Um, I usually nowadays just say, hold my element up, my representation to the east, and I'll say something like, I call on the element of air, and well, I don't want y'all to use my exact words, but I'm going to have to tell you or it's going to look dumb. Okay. I call to the east. I ask that you lend me your element of air. Watch over my circle and help me do my work. Something like that. I don't always say it in those exact words, or I may say, I'm holding this up. And I may just say, I call to the east. Lend me your element of air so that I may do my work. It comes out different every time. But while I'm holding this up and my eyes are closed, I'm seeing a beautiful, Earth's color's yellow, or air's color's yellow. So I'm seeing a beautiful yellow light coming towards me and going down into my incense. And I'm imagining my entire cauldron glowing yellow. It is now magical. I set that down. I turn to the south. I do the same thing with my candle. At this point, I usually light that candle, that specific candle. And I will say, I call to the south and ask to borrow your element of fire to assist me in my work. You can say something like, as I light this candle, please put your energy of fire, your magical, wonderful energy of fire into my candle. You light that candle, you hold that candle up, you do the same thing. Fire, the color for it is red. So you can imagine a red light coming down and encasing your candle and your holder. It's just glowing fire red, like an ember. It's just beautiful and it's glowing. And you stand there a minute and you're seeing this happen. And then you set it down. You do the same with your water. The color of, the element of water is blue. So I would hold my my cup of water. You can use moon water. A lot of us use moon water. It needs to be purified. You can just go get you some out of the faucet. You need to bless it. You you know I guess you can do it however you want, but I'll already have purified water made up, or moon water, or depending on what spell I'm doing, and if I want to add I will have storm water, thunderstorm water, or something like that. But you would do the same and imagine your blue light coming in to that water. And just imagine it like a cauldron, turning, twisting, and it's beautiful blue and things bubbling up and sparkles coming up out of the water. Oh, when I did that, my fingers started tingling. They're like, yay, we get to do something. Anyway, so you would do that with your water. Then you would do the same to the north with your element of earth. You know, the color is green. So you would imagine a green, beautiful, bright green light coming down into your dirt or on your crystals. They're glowing green. Um, Use your imagination of how you want it to be. Um, I would say you could use any color you want, but probably not because those are the colors for the elements. I mean, you don't want to turn around and say, east is air and it's red because it's not. But anyway, so that's how you would do all that. Okay. Then, uh, and as I said, you can say it however you want to each direction. I usually say the same thing. Or you can say, Hail to the Lord and Lady of the Watchtower to the east. I ask that you lend me your element of air and watch over my circle so that I may do my work. Depends on how formal you want to be. You don't have to say anything, you can think it. You can just imagine holding it up. I like to say things out loud. For whatever reason, I always have. So that's how I do that. Now, after you've done your work, well, first of all, almost forgot the major one. You call on spirit after you have done this. Now, there's a million ways to do this, I'm sure, but this is how I do it. I will stand in the middle of my circle. It's all been purified. You have all your elements present. Everything is ready for I told you I use a lot of metaphors and similes. But now you've had your appetizers, your salad, your soup. Now you're ready for the main event, the entree. So when all this other's been prepared for this spirit, because you want it to be pure, you want everything else to be present. I guess you could call on spirit before you draw in your corners, but I don't know. That's just the way I do it. I call on spirit last when everything else is ready. I just think a lot of them don't want to just stand around, okay, well, you should have already had this done before I got here. I got things to do. That's how I look at it. Maybe that's not how it is, but that's the way I look at it, especially my goddess, she's swift, and you can tell when she starts getting impatient, the energy will start twisting and feeling weird, and you can just tell when she's like, okay, it's been 20 minutes, I'm ready to go. So you kind of have to step up your pace. But I will stand in the middle of my circle. And that's another thing when I was talking about the loophole. You don't have to have this specific scene circle. I have encased my entire house. And all you do when you're facing the direction and you're imagining this light coming from that direction and entering your representation of whatever you're working with at that moment, you're also visualizing this. I think of it as just a fence of light, like almost like an electric fence. As I'm thinking of this, I'm also seeing to that direction that light coming up. And then when I move to the next, and I'm seeing that element being charged, I'm imagining that going up. And so by the time you get back around and you face back east, because after you get down at the north and you do your thing with the north, you've still got a little bit of space here. So I go ahead and turn back to the east. And while you're turning back to the east, you're imagining that space being filled with that light. That electric fence is up. So by the time you get back to the east, you're totally encased by this electric fence. You can do your entire property. You can do your house. A lot of times, I try not to do spell work with anybody else in the house because sometimes my grandkids stay with me. I don't want anything to go wrong and something possess my little granddaughters or something. So I don't do work while they're in the house. But if I had to, sometimes my husband's home and he's in bed, and they're in the bedroom. I just go ahead and encase my entire house. That way my pets are secure. He's secure, I'm secure, everything. And also, depending on who you're working with, some of these spirits can get a little rowdy. If you get one come through that you really didn't intend to be there, they have honestly been known to break things. you know, um, so that's not a bad idea. Is protecting your entire house. At the very least, I will. If I'm here by myself, I encase my entire kitchen. You know, because I may be doing a spell with a candle. A candle spell, and then you don't want to just sit after you put your intent in it. You can get up and move around. But I do not take my circle down until I am through with my work. But I like to get up and move around. I'm old. I get stiff sitting in one spot for an hour. So I'll get up and move around. I'll get me a pop or make me some tea, whatever. Um, and then when my work's done, now this is also very important. You have to remember to close your circle. You close, but your circle isn't ever and it's never broken. Okay, your circle once you become a witch is always there. You know, but I look at it like a constant circle around me where I can raise it up and I put it down, but it's always there. Okay, so after you get done with your work, now you're giving back, you're sending back. So you want to go counterclockwise. Once again, I start in the east. I'll hold up my air, my incense, whatever is my representation, and I will say, thank you to the east for lending me your element of air. I return it to you now. The circle is closing. Then you'll move to the north because you're going counterclockwise this time. You'll do the same thing to the north, and you'll say the circle is closing. You'll do the same thing to the west, say the circle is closing. You'll move around here to the south, say the same thing, and the circle is closing. Then you're closing that one little space between south and east, and you're coming around. And once you face east again, I always tell, the spirit, thank you for assisting me and watching over my circle as I did my work. You are free to go whenever you choose. Don't ever say go or go now. To me, that's disrespectful. You have to be careful, as I said earlier, how you talk to these spirits and your goddess, your deities. You have respect. So I always say, whenever you're ready, you may leave. In other words, I don't need, or don't say, well, okay, you can go. I don't need you anymore. That's just rude. So after I say, I'm finished with my work, thank you for assisting me, you may go whenever you choose. Then I say, the circle is now closed, but never broken. Okay? Then your circle is down. You can imagine, as you're saying, the circle is closing. Imagine this electric fence that you've raised up going back down into the ground. Okay? You're sending everything back to the ground. You're giving the elements back because you've just borrowed them. They're not yours to keep. So it's very important that you remember to give them back. Do that, and then you're pretty much done. I hope there's nothing I forgot to tell you. But you can practice on this. Just stand there. You can use your finger. I wouldn't point. I guess you could, or maybe, I don't know. I don't ever just use my finger. Maybe do like this and imagine that element. You don't have to do it the way I do it. You can imagine that element sending its magic into your hand. If you have your athame, you can hold. Let me run and get it real quick. If you want to use your athame, then you can, hold it, say like this, and then whenever you point, you do like this, and you say your words to the east or whichever direction. You imagine maybe a lightning bolt striking the tip of that and it going plumb up through your athame, up this way, up into your arm. Okay? However you want to do it. And it just coursing through. You can do that. You can do the same with your wand. Hold your wand. However you want to do it. Some witches also from between the east, after you say, lend me your element of air, while you're moving towards the when you're going to the south, or after you have asked for that, you can draw a pentagram. Like that. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. It depends on how formal you want to be, how much time you want to put in it. So there it is. I hope I didn't forget anything. Like I said, I don't cast circles that often, and you may decide that you don't want to do it. Usually, those of us that work with specific goddesses or deities, we just trust in them to protect us, to protect our space. Hecate is a darker goddess. She leads the underworld. She leads the dead around. So you might expect when she's present, maybe if you've called on her at a specific time when she's leading someone, or they may just follow her, because they follow her around. She's their god. Hence why she has the torches. So they may accidentally or on purpose follow her over into your realm, So you have to kind of be prepared for stuff like that. But she will keep them at bay. She's not going to let them harm you. She'll say, "Whoops, you're not supposed to be here, but sit over there and be quiet." And they do that. So anyway, that's how you do your circle. Next, I will show y'all how to banish in case you ever need to. That's why it's also important to know your protection amulets, your amethyst, stuff like that you can wear. Usually they're enchanted. You need to enchant them. That you don't just go buy an amethyst and put it on and you're protected. It's not that simple. You have to enchant it. You have to put your intent into it. And I will show you how to do that. And then, guess what? We're going to do a spell. I'll show you a little spell to practice on, little protection spell. Nothing bad. And then, since y'all know pretty much the basics, or you can go back and study the videos. If I forgot to say something, or if you have a question, ask me, and I will answer you. But like I said, I don't know unless you ask. I don't know if I've missed something, and it's quite possible that I have. Some little things I don't put in there because I just automatically assume everybody knows, and I forget that I'm working with, people just starting out that, of course, wouldn't know the very small things that go in there too. So as we keep going, you'll see how I do things, and I'll try to explain why I do them as I go. They won't be actual spells that you're watching me do because I can't put my intent into them and talk to you at the same time. I can tell you what I would do, or for making an oil, I'll say, okay, well, I've made it up. Now after my video, I will put my intent into it. Okay. Anyway, thank you for being with me and sticking with me. Like and subscribe, and I will be back and we'll do some fun stuff. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.